Hi, hello, good night. It's 7 p.m. Tessa-Marie show. How are you doing on this wonderful evening? It's a really nice evening, much better than yesterday evening. Everything is going really nice. So how are you feeling? So tonight on the Tessa-Marie show, we are featuring the pillar of mental prosperity. As you know, mental prosperity is one of the 5 pillars of prosperity. And this pillar is one that we sometimes confuse with emotional prosperity. During these weeks and months and years of us doing this prosperity, all these pillars of prosperity, we have touched on each and every one of them numerous times. But there's always something unique about each pillar that we just have to bring to you. So tonight, it's a brand new take. Sometimes we confuse the word mental as somebody that is completely out of their mind. We always say they're mental. But mental prosperity does not only mean that that person is mental, like mentally ill, or what they would say crazy. That's not what it is. That's not the only section of it. Mental prosperity is that part of your life where you are supposed to learn something and furthermore hold it in, and when the time comes, to apply it. So it's like you went to school, you studied to be, and you found a job to be, and now you require to learn the skills of that, what you studied at school, and now apply it to the job. So that's what mental prosperity in this feature is all about. Is the ability to recall the information that you learned or you read about and apply it when necessary. But sometimes with mental prosperity, we don't realize that it is a lifelong learning decision. It is lifelong. Mental prosperity is lifelong learning. You always need to learn. You do things for mental sharpness. And that is important. You need to keep those neurons sharp. Mental prosperity comes in right at the time when you maybe just found a job and your ability to process the information you were taught that you need to process. So you're learning. Our mental capabilities is all like a muscle. We train it, it will react. We don't train it, it retracts. It shrivels and it becomes tiny. Then you might have people that say, mentally, excuse me, I am not able to remember things. I forget things. It's affecting them this way. And then somebody is emotional, somebody else will say they're mental. No. Your mental capabilities is something that you have to keep sharp. The way you do that is always looking for ways to improve on what you already know. Many times we meet people who have no room to learn. They tell you, I know. When you're having a conversation with someone, or you're explaining something to somebody, maybe somebody you're teaching about something, or someone you're giving an idea about something, thanks for the love. They turn around and they say to you, I know. And you know, as a manager, I had to deal with that so many times. People constantly telling me, I know, while I am trying to explain the procedure or what we are supposed to do or what they are supposed to do, what part I want them to play in that particular project. I know. But no, you don't know. If you knew, I wouldn't have the job of telling you. So that's what sometimes somebody's mental capabilities in their mind, I know it all. I already know it. And that's a common phenomenon. People are saying to you, you're trying to tell them something, and they're saying, you know what? I already know it. I already know it. No, you don't know it. If you knew it, I wouldn't have to tell you it. You understand what I'm saying? So mental capacity, the ability to keep that mental target really sharp, you have to be a lifelong learner. And that doesn't mean you have to go to school to learn. That's not what I'm talking about. You can learn from a child. You can learn from somebody much older than you. And you can learn from somebody much, much younger than you. And this is where I am in my life today. I am learning from people that are so much younger than me. In some cases, they could be my grandchildren. And most cases, they could be my children or my sibling. But they're all still younger than me. So mental prosperity is a lifelong learning. So we have to do things to keep our mental capability sharp. For example, it's very important to read every day. I have a minimum thing of reading a day. Minimum 15 minutes. But you'll be amazed at how much reading you can do in 15 minutes. But you do it every day, 7 days a week. It's a program to keep your mental capability sharp. You listen with your brain, but when you read, you also stimulating it. While you're reading, you're on this journey where the author has been. That was a lesson taught to me by my father. Read, he said, and read every day. Because wherever that author has been, you are going. In many cases, he said, you'll be visiting worlds you have never been to. And if it's a sci-fi, can you imagine where you're going, a fantasy, and you're reading this fantasy? For the moment, you're lost in that. You're lost in the description of some huge bird flying, and it described the feathers. And when the sun shines on the feather, it tells you the colors reflect like the rainbow. It dazzles the enemy, and the person that is fighting the enemy suddenly sees clearer, because the light is dazzling the enemy, but it is shining the darkness that they're in. So you're in it. And it stimulates your own mental ability. Then when you come to write something, you are able to do it better, because your brain is accustomed of seeing things that way. There's something I don't think those of you who are here tonight know about me. I never read. There's one young lady here that's going to say, write that book, and a young man that's going to say, write that book. I never read from an actual storybook for my children. Never once. I made up stories during the day. I have to take a sip of water. I made up stories for them while I'm on the bus going downtown to work. I made up stories on the bus coming home. So I wrote all the time. So if the story ended there, then tomorrow morning to work, I'll be writing. Coming home, I'll be writing. At lunchtime, I will be writing. Because that's how I got them to expand their imagination. So I cultivate their mental. I force them to see it. That didn't mean they didn't read. They read from a book to me. But I read a story. I tried to make the characters. I did make the characters their ages. As they grew, the characters grew. And if I'm describing a witch, and the witch is standing there next to her steaming cauldron. The cauldron is burning. The water is bubbling. And they are climbing that wall. And if they don't hold on to that rock while they're climbing the cliff to go to safety, and they fall in that boiling cauldron. I described the witch. The froth is coming from the cauldron. Her nose is hooked, and she has a mole that is sticking and oozing out on the side of her nose. Her teeth is all jarred, and her skin is leathery and creased. Her hair is tangled, and there is like a dreadlock hanging with one big shining eye, a dragon she slayed, and there is the eye of the dragon. She sewed it to her. So they saw that through the words that I use. So when they had to write a composition or a description of something at school, their imagination was on fire already. I set it on fire. My husband would hang at the side of the bedroom door. He wouldn't want to come in, but he would stand there to listen to the story. And one day he said to me, "Where do you get this from?" And I said, "I don't know, don't ask." So it was how I taught my children to stimulate their imagination. But guess what? I kept my imagination alert. I am not saying that you shouldn't read from a storybook. They will ask you to let them see the pictures. So they had to create the pictures. I gave them a description. So read, do puzzles, take classes, do small things to stimulate your brain, your mental ability. Learn to play an instrument. Attend a seminar. Write down what you desire. Descriptively. Write it down. Write down your desires descriptively. When you're tuning in your mental ability, you have to know those things. You have to sharpen your mental. The sharper and the more reading you do, the more questions you ask, the more involvement you get into, is the faster your mental ability stretches. And when you're going to buy a car, you should be able to say what the car should smell like. You should be able to describe the inside of your car to say, the inside look like peanut butter. So you're putting something everybody knows to describe the color. The caramel cushions, the caramel leather seats with a hue of light brown. Describe it. You know what you want. A car is not enough. A make of a car and a model is not enough. The rest has to come. The house is not enough. Use your mental capabilities to extend. I want a house. Which house do you want? The one under the Woodbine Bridge? Do you want a house, a condo, a townhouse, a 2-story, a back split, a side split, a semi-detached, a ranch bungalow, a bungalow? Hey, you didn't specify. Specify what it is you're looking for in a home. And that's what it is. Many times when I do financial planning, not everybody. There's some people got the news and then they didn't do it. Many people would come to me and they would say to me, I said, okay, so let me know the things. You need 5 things when you come to see me. We'll talk on your 5 desires. And the first thing I hear is, well, I don't want to be like my dad. He never had a job that paid more than minimum. I don't want to be like my mom. She didn't know how to handle money. I don't want to live and pay rent. And so they give me 5 things, but it has nothing to do with them. So being me, I say, knock yourself out. When you are done telling me what you don't want, could you please tell me what you want? I said, I told you to write it down. Oh, I don't have to write it down. I just told you what I don't want. I said, okay, fine. But that is not what I asked you to do. Use your mental capabilities to write your desires down, no matter what it is. I desire to complete my task today. Write it down. What do you desire to do at work today? Finish it. Just saying, I desire to get all the stuff done. That's not good enough. I desire to handle the most difficult client today, first thing. That's what a desire is. What it is you want to do, write it down. Concentrate on it. Stop concentrating on the things you do not desire. That blocks your mind. Then you do not remember what it is you really truly desire. So if you feel that wonderful, amazing, stimulating brain of yours with All the things you do not want. I do not want more bills. I do not want to owe money. I do not want this. How can you leave room for what you desire? You notice I'm not correcting the want when you're saying you do not want. I repeat it. But when I say write what you desire, I use desire. Write the things you desire down. Fill your mind with them. Saturate your senses with your desires. That is what you do with your mental. Mental is keeping that mental sharp. Train it. Train it to only see what it is you desire for yourself. Do not concentrate on the things you do not desire in your life. Do not do that, because you won't remember what it is you truly, truly desire. Take time for yourself to write them down. Now, I know training your mental capabilities, the mental pillar of prosperity, is very difficult. I know that. I am not telling you you will be able to knock it out of the park the first time. No. The first time you sit with a pen and a piece of paper and you're writing your desires on here, you might not write it down completely. This is why you revisit it. So you go back and it's your mind you're training. You're training your mind to give you your desire. I desire to be this first class world trainer or coach or the absolutely best child psychologist in the world, or whatever you desire to be. But make it fancy. Where are you going to be practicing? Where is your business going to be? How many countries are you going to be in? Put it down. Put it down. That is the trick to all of this. Then, what you have to do, after you have taken the time to train your mental capabilities, your mental prosperity pillar, to see this thing clearly and sharply, then remember, what you do not write down do not happen. I know that for sure. Only the things you concentrate on and you write clearly and distinctly and you expand it as much as you can, to the point when you think of it, you should taste it. You should see yourself in that moment. Your mental prosperity is so sharp. I can feel it. You should be able to do that. Then the other part of this amazing part of this whole thing is to put it where you can see it, so you constantly are reminded of it. It's not only like a vision board, it's using, how many people can actually sit and do a vision board? I have seen some vision boards that you would think it was alive. I have seen people create visions board that when I look at it, I feel as if I'm walking into that house. That is how powerful the vision boards are. And then I have seen the vision board that have them numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. And I go, what's that? Oh, that's my vision board. I said, and which vision are you using to look at it? Oh, I can see it here. I say, it's not bold. It's not outstanding. It doesn't depict you, the human being behind it. Show me you. Take a picture of your head and slap it on there. Let me see. You must have a hard copy of your picture. I know this is the world of digital people, but find a digital person to print a copy of yourself and put it there going, hi, I got my new car. Hear me driving. I'm a #1 coach. I'm coaching all the way in Japan every morning. I am the best psychologist for children at the hockey rink. Here I am. Show me. Explain it to me. That is what it is telling you. It's begging you to give it life. That is what it is telling you. Give me a little bit of life so I can live and I can become part of you. So your mental prosperity, this is not vision board problem, This is it. This is keeping the mind sharp. Keeping that mind alert. What you do not feed to, if you have a plant and you don't give it water, it will die. If you don't give it a little bit of fertilizer, it won't grow either. And if you sit there and you leave your mind in the same dungeon like you are a robot, click, and you're watching somebody screaming and shouting and fighting, and somehow that satisfies your mental capability, you have a problem. If it's a TV that stimulates your mental capabilities, then you need to pull back and say, okay, who am I? Who am I? Am I a robot to that clicker? Who am I really? I haven't sat down and figured out what it is I can mentally visualize for me. What am I doing to stimulate my mental capability? Am I going to wait until I'm 80 years old, going senile, having dementia or some other problem and say, I need to take Prevagen. Let's get the Prevagen going. I forgot my son's name yesterday. I need the Prevagen. No, it's too late. Prevagen does not have a reverse gear. You have to do mental practice now. And the first thing is to make sure you realize you have to learn. And learning is a constant decision to stimulate your brain, to see things differently. Read something every day, minimum 15 minutes. People associate the word 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and when I said to someone, I'm decluttering, and I am spending 30 minutes in that area, and everything belongs to my children. And they say, 30 minutes, what can you do in 30 minutes? There's nothing you can do in 30 minutes. I said, okay, but I can shift 2 boxes. If I take 2 boxes that's in my way, and I move it and dump it in the blue bin, guess what? I was able to take 2 boxes out of the room. So if you decide to read for 15 minutes, what you need to do, if you just want to try it, set a timer, open the book, click on the word where you start, and read for 15 minutes non-stop. Turn off the TV, leave your devices in the other room, or read from your device, but ignore the notifications. So reading for 15 minutes will open a whole new world for you. Then, what you need to do after this is make sure you find something new to learn. There's a new way to do something. There's a new way to cook a certain dish. There's a new way to get lost and find your way back. I am doing reels. You know what? I really don't know what I'm doing. But every day it's a little stimulating. Every day something clicks. Every now and again something clicks. So when you're keeping that mental part of your pillar of prosperity going, you need to give it a challenge every day. You need to say to it, we are learning a new skill today. Mental prosperity is a lifelong learning program. There is never a stop to learning. Read every day. Try something new every day. Learn and never believe you know enough. Never believe you know enough. When someone is talking to you about something new and you catch yourself saying, I know, I know, you're not listening. You're hurrying that person off the speaking. That's what you're doing. And scripture tells you, he who answers a question before hearing the whole thing, the entire thing, is a fool. Can you believe that? Right there in your holy books, it tells you that. You that interrupt the speaker that is asking you a question or making a statement and answering before it is finished is a fool. Really, you are a fool. Because mental prosperity means making that thing sharp. Fill your mind with what you desire. Write what you desire. Make it picturesque. As I said, I have seen vision boards that if I wasn't strong, it would absorb me. It was so well done. And then I've seen people who said, this is my vision board, and I couldn't see what they wrote. And another thing, When you are describing your desires and you're putting it down, put some energy into that thing. Write it down so in big bold. Let your writing be strong. Get a marker. I don't care. What you don't write down, you will not regret. So let it be written. So let it be done. That is a belief that is there forever. What you write down must happen. Once you commit it to paper, it will jump out at you. It will bother you. You won't forget it. But if you leave it sitting in a little box somewhere and saying, I'm dreaming, and I'm dreaming, well, you know what? Write it down. Describe your dream for me, please, and thank you. So this is what you have to do. I am asking that you train your mental capabilities to be prosperous, because your mental health has to be constantly developing something new. It's like you have this house and you want to expand it, so you're breaking it and you're building it, you're opening it, you're seeking it. That's what I did with my children. I forced them to see the stories, not from a book. I created the stories. To this day, my son laughs at me. And he said, really, Mom? But the point is, he remembers the description of the characters in the stories. Because I got them to look at it through my description of what the witch looked like. And if it is a fantasy, then make it so that you will see the colors. So if your goals right now, not your goals, if your desire right now is there, make it vivid. Spend some time to give it life. Because developing good mental habits strengthens your mental prosperity. It opens doors for you. You're always learning. Reading is important. Learning a new skill. Learning to play an instrument. Learning chess. Learning something somebody else can do that you cannot do. Like me, as I said with those reels, I just do them. I have one step to go. And I've been thinking of it, and I wrote it down. And that is because I want to do it a specific way. And doing those things, I found out I am slightly a perfectionist. Had you told me a year ago, Tessa-Marie, you're a perfectionist, I would say, hell no. But then I noticed I do have those traits because of the effort that I'm putting into learning a new skill. I am never satisfied with what I just did. I will put it out there, but at the back of my mind, I know I have to fix it. So sending you light and joy on this absolutely amazing Wednesday evening. I hope the pillar of mental prosperity means something to you.